Hey guys, it's Marni. Buying a car is a not so fun experience for most people, and it doesn't have to be. At TrueCar.com, they'll help you get rid of the fear that you may overpay. You know when you'll get a fair price because they show you what others paid for the car you're looking for. TrueCar.com analyzes what people are paying for their cars in their market and shares it with consumers so that they never have to overpay. Over 40,000 cars were sold by TrueCar certified dealers just last month. Users see an average savings of $3,046 off MSRP. TrueCar certified dealers go through a certification process, and you work directly with a TrueCar representative that will honor your savings. TrueCar certified dealers believe that truth and transparency are essentials to a better buying experience. First, go to TrueCar.com and find out what others pay for the same vehicle in your market and around the country. Second, register at TrueCar.com to see upfront pricing information and lock in your savings certificate. And the third step is simple. Just print out your certificate and take it to the TrueCar certified dealer for a better hassle-free buying experience. TrueCar has the most comprehensive new car pricing information available and a certified network of dealers that offers a hassle-free car buying experience and negotiation-free guaranteed savings. Support the Ask Women podcast and shop at TrueCar.com.
PodcastOne.com presents the Ask Women podcast. A place where three female comics and a professional wing girl get together to dissect the female mind.
You don't know how I feel.
And explain it to men in terms they can actually understand. Boobs. Now, here's the lovely ladies of Ask Women.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Ask Women podcast where you get real advice straight from the source. I'm your host, Kristen Carney, comedian extraordinaire, here with Marni Kinrys, best-selling author, relationship expert, and Andy Ruther, who is like our certified douche for the show today, which I'm so excited about.
Not even the voice of man, the certified douche. Like that's a big compliment coming from Kristen.
It's a great intro, Kristen. I appreciate that.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming on. You guys can follow Andy at Andy Ruther on Twitter and go to his page, dirtysports.com, and his Dirty Sports podcast.
Yeah. You know what? I just realized we still haven't changed the beginning.
We haven't, but
show.
it said two comics, and it kind of works because Andy's a comic.
That is true. But and a douchebag. So like we didn't have that in the intro.
That's actually better than the intro. I got introed on a show recently. They said he's going to spread his seed over you, Andy Ruther. That was my intro to go on a stand-up comedy show.
Oh, that's amazing.
What show was this?
It was. Have you ever done Nick Lafon's rooftop show in Venice?
No.
It's a good show.
I did. That's not, what's his name show, right? The other one, the other Venice. No, that was Culver City Rooftop.
It's something different. I mean, great show, packed, but like he doesn't know how to intro people.
Yeah.
I'm like that, and of course I made fun. I'm like, that's my intro, then I'm just going to bust a nut all over the crowd.
It was because you brought sunflower seeds and you were just,
you were spitting everywhere.
Yeah, you were spitting
spit it everywhere.
Well, we also have Susan Pinsky coming on the show, who is bringing a psychic with her, which is really cool.
I know. Who's going to get a reading? All of us or none of us or who?
Well, I got one before on her show, and
so I'm getting it.
Yeah, so I feel like I should also spread my seed and let you guys get one.
Do they?
Yeah.
Now, how do they just read the palms? Is that how they do
I don't
that?
know. We'll see.
No, that's like a palm reader.
They read your mind.
This is a psychic where she senses your energy and tells you who's around you. And see, the thing is, like, I am into that stuff, but secretly. It's kind of like that.
Not so secret anymore.
No, but I don't want to admit it. I like to pretend, I'm very logical and smart, and I think there's no afterlife. But I truly am like, oh my God, there's spirits around me.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I find things from spirits, but I don't tell anyone.
Girls in
Because
LA.
I don't want to be cray-cray.
Girls in LA love to say they're spiritual.
Oh, for sure they do. What does that mean to them exactly?
Which means they're the most shallow human being in the world.
To me, that just means that they're not going to make you wear a condom. I don't know.
Right.
All right. Before we get further into not wearing condoms, we are going to do a Wing Girl Minute.
Andy's like,
and now.
We'll edit this out.
Here is my description of the best kiss ever. The date is done and you walk me to my car, and then you look me straight in the eyes with a smirk on your face as you get closer to me. You brush my hair to the side and then lean in, press your body up against me, and softly kiss me on the lips with just a little bit of tongue.
I'm really uncomfortable
Then you
right
pull,
now.
I know, right? / turned on. Then you pull away slowly, still looking me in the eyes, and tell me goodnight. Leaves me wanting more. And that is my Wing Girl Minute. That's continuing.
Lovely.
Still continuing. I try and mix it up. I want to
like
give
that.
everything.
What is it? What is that from?
What is my Wing Girl Minute from? Actually, you know what these are from? So I do these pieces for Vivid Radio. Like they insert my motivational pieces inside like people jerking off.
People's vaginas.
Yeah, it's like a really
Inside
like
people's vaginas.
racy radio station.
I'm
but
familiar with Vivid.
Okay, you are. Good, I'm glad. But yeah, so I did like 50 of these, and I was like, oh, well, I may as well use them for our show as well. So sometimes they're about like sex, sometimes they're about dating, sometimes they're about confidence, motivational. So yeah, that's what I do.
The kiss
What I do.
So you wrote that. That's 100% original.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
She
What do you think
experienced
about it?
What's that?
What do you think about it?
I'll tell you what. Sometimes I think it can be more hot when like I'm sexting a girl versus seeing nudes.
Okay.
Wait, this has nothing to do with leaning into
Absolutely
the first
nothing.
kiss.
Nothing.
You are.
This is where my head's at.
That's where your head's at. So that's what you heard.
Well, actually-
that's what he heard coming out of my mouth.
It's something straight
ridiculous.
sexual. That's literally what's going on.
So
in
you,
my
I
head.
told you he was a dude.
So she talked a little bit about something sexual. Therefore, my train of thought is to go to sexting and texting.
But that's
totally
that's
connected.
all men. We're just
100%.
all we think about is sex. We're disgusting. See, a woman can think logically. All we are is like cavemen, dick and vagina. That's where I really think that's how men are.
Do you think
Broken
that's
down.
how all men really are?
I think most men.
I think
yes.
it's interesting because even like hipster dudes that I wouldn't imagine would be like super sexual are very, and I know that's kind of naive of me to say, but I would imagine them, books and everything. But like when Chris Gore came in, he's from
Yeah.
Podcrash, total nerd, like Comic-Con guy, but he's super kinky, and I would never
He
imagine
was
that
super
stuff.
kinky. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
He was so kinky.
So it's always
Well,
surprising
it's
that
interesting.
even like the nerdy dudes or whoever,
I just think
everyone's
most guys
very
don't
sexual.
want to. They don't want to admit it.
Why? Why don't they want
It's like I don't want
to
to admit the psychic side of me. It's
Right.
It's like
Exactly.
you pretend you're more well read or
Well, I'm gonna read a little tidbit of this article. So actually, it's taking a while to open up, but I was reading this article recently, and I'm going to completely screw this up. But roughly, what it was saying is that teenage boys actually want intimacy, not just sex. And a survey found this. So they found that boys who are between the ages of 13
because
and
there's more
15
estrogen now and things. That's why.
Probably, yeah, they're getting a little bit more
I call it
feminine.
the pussification of America. What's wrong with these kids?
No, but they were saying okay. So this is one thing. In our culture, we have a lot of assumptions about how guys behave, said lead researcher. Okay, so what the study tells us is young adolescents want intimacy and trust in a relationship, even though the culture is telling us they just want sex, said Bell, who reported the findings recently in the American Journal of Men's Health.
Well, let me just stop you. The reason that we think those things is because that's what you see in action. You don't see young boys with girls, you see them like making out on the corner. You never really see teenage boys that look like they want anything emotional. You see that,
Right.
them
No,
at
but
parties
this
and
is
stuff.
actually-
That's why we think those things.
This study
'cause they
is
happen.
saying that when the guys are younger, okay, that they actually do want intimacy and love and all of that
So
stuff.
they want that more when they're younger versus older.
Yeah, in their teenage years. So it says older teenagers are a different story, research suggests. By then, young men often take on more of the stereotypical male attitudes towards women in romantic relationship. Older guys tend to describe a desire to get as many women as they can, Bell said. Our findings would suggest that maybe they weren't always like that. So the question is, what happens as boys grow older? This is what it says.
Well,
There
I
was-
think their sex drive might increase.
I think their sex drive
if you're
increases. I think their
13
testosterone increases. But what this research says is that because these guys between the ages of 13 and 15, they have their first heartbreak with a girl.
I thought you
and
were
they-
going to say hard on.
Yeah, that happens a lot earlier. But they have their first heartbreak, and a lot of men aren't taught about how to deal with their emotions and how to handle them. So they turn it towards aggression and frustration towards women. And that's where they think a lot of this behavior is coming from, which I found really interesting. So back to what you were saying about all guys wanting this, but secretly wanting this.
I mean, everybody wants a connection with somebody.
Do they?
I don't know.
How about someone like
Like,
you?
I don't know.
How about someone like you who, again, your mind's going immediately to sex and you've never had a serious relationship? And we should tell everyone that you
but
are 32.
But you know what?
Do you want a connection?
I am not normal. I don't know. None of my male friends. They always said, they're like, Andy's the only guy I know who's never been in like a serious committed relationship. That's just me. Like, I know I have issues. Like, I need to see a fucking shrink or something because my head a lot of times it'll be like, okay, I'll have sex with a girl, and whether it's that night or just stay over, and a lot of times it's like, I want her to leave. I want to get back to doing what I'm doing.
Right.
How do you think you'd behave? Because Andy is attractive and that is accessible for you, that behavior. But how do you think you would behave if you weren't like a handsome guy who had muscles? Would you have more hobbies? Would you be smarter?
I like how you're turning it into
I know.
that I am just like
Well, no,
a
if you
fucking
haven't
sexual predator.
No, I don't think
know.
you're a sexual predator. I think
Hey,
you
girls,
have. I think
Come
you have.
inside. Yeah,
No,
exactly.
what I'm saying is, I think you have the setup. Your entire life, you've probably had the setup to be able to be more of a sexual being because girls are willing to be like that with you quicker. If you didn't have that side to you, do you think that you would be more of a committed relationship person?
I mean, yeah, you're probably right. I mean,
I'm
it's
definitely
weird
right.
to say. I never thought about it. It's never been that difficult for me to hook up. I mean, but a lot of it for me is if guys have confidence. Most guys don't have confidence. Like for me, I never use corny, cheesy pickup lines. I'm not the guy who
Really? You so seem like that guy
I know,
who would use.
but see, I'm not. I never just like directly like hit on a girl at the bar. My thing is, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm a comedian, so I use a lot of it through laughter.
Are you really? I'm just kidding. I don't. She's knocking you. So I'm just like I'm feeding off of it.
You sound like my Twitter followers, who according to them, I'm an unfunny fag, is what they always say.
Really? Okay, I interrupted you. You were saying something really nice. Continue.
No, I'm just. I don't even remember what I was talking about.
I don't really.
Well, you were
either.
saying confidence. It's like
Yeah, well, no, I think it's all because I see. I mean, you girls know this. Even if a guy's not that attractive, if he's confident, if he's funny, he's witty, that's attractive.
Yeah.
But I feel the same way for women. Like you take for example, L.A. We're just inundated with attractive people, attractive men, attractive women. So for me, I've never been into like the really gorgeous girl. Like if she can make me laugh, like that's a way bigger turn on.
Right.
Because you see it all.
You're like you're a dime a dozen. I see you everywhere. Like the hot girls. I'm saying.
Exactly. They're everywhere. And like especially like when I'm on Tinder, the minute I start seeing the headshots and the glamour poses, I'm like, I want no part of you.
Right.
I want the girl who writes something witty in her profile and is doing some goofy pictures. 9 out of 10 times, I guarantee the sex with her is going to be better too.
I don't
I'm
know why
sure.
the girls don't learn that or won't learn that that's not what guys are looking for, like the glamour shots and all the selfies.
But I think
why aren't they learning?
But you know what? There
'Cause I think some guys are. Obviously.
I was going to say there
Yeah.
is a large section of guys who are looking for that shit.
Yeah, I have this one client of mine right now who he keeps telling me about how bitchy this girl is at work. He keeps trying to talk to her and he keeps trying to have conversations. And every time she shuts him down, but he still wants her because she's pretty. That's the only thing that he's focusing on. And what it's saying overall is he doesn't really respect himself. I like the fact that you said, okay, looks, a dime a dozen. Like,
Yeah.
what else you got for me? Which I think is fantastic.
In other places of the world, they are not a dime a dozen, though. That's for sure.
No,
Like where I'm
not
from.
for LA, right?
You're from
It's
Chicago,
like $1
right?
million a dozen. I'm from upstate New York.
Okay,
Yeah,
so everyone just looks like trolls.
Well,
Except for Kristen.
cows mostly.
Kristen was the hot one who made it out. Was like, see, I'm going to L.A.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I'm going to try and do a fancy segue here. I'm not really sure how to do this, but we have Susan Pinsky coming on the show. She has a psychic that she's brought with us. I'm most likely going to get a reading, which I'm super excited for. And I want to also have the beginning half of the show lead into that portion of the show. So I had thought about talking about mind reading, which is something that I see a lot of my clients assuming that they can do. Okay. So when I'm talking about mind reading, I'm talking about guys who look at girls and they think, oh, she must be too busy. She doesn't want to talk to me. I'm not good enough for her. So I always say to guys when they make these excuses out loud to me, I say to them, how do you know this? Are you a mind reader? Do you find, Andy, that you do the same thing when you look at girls? Do you find yourself making a list of excuses as to what these girls are thinking based on your ability to read their minds?
I mean, I think
That makes sense?
Yeah.
It makes sense. I think you can definitely try to assert what's going on in a girl. Like for example, like I'm saying, like on Tinder, I know the type of girl that I'll attract. I know the type of girl I won't attract because all my pictures are like me doing just drunken, retarded stuff.
Right.
So I know the girl who thinks she's like the perfect 10 model is not going to be into the guy like me who's holding up a big giant White Castle Crave case hammered. Like,
But how do you know? Are you a mind reader?
I know, but I'm just guessing.
See, I think like what happens is mind reading is one thing, but then also a pattern is also another thing. So
Yeah,
when you
for
notice
sure.
a pattern, you're not getting approached by these girls.
Exactly.
It's easy to start mind reading because your brain tells you, oh, this is a pattern and I'm going to continue believing this pattern because it continues to happen.
That's so true.
What's
Like-
the difference?
But don't you think it cuts you off?
But 9 out of 10 times, I'm not. If I'm interested in a girl, I'll talk to her. I'll go for it. But if like I was saying, it's the same thing before. If she's pretty, but she doesn't look that appealing. I know this sounds awful. I'm judgmental, and I don't care. We're all judgmental.
Right.
I hate when everyone in life's like, don't judge. I'm like, life is one giant fucking judgment.
Right.
That's all life is. So I can literally, whether it's a guy or a girl or anything, I'll judge the shit out of somebody, especially in LA, the minute I see them.
Right.
So if a girl is
Judging you, you're okay with it? Is that kind of what you're saying, or
No, he said he judges like based on how you look.
but it's like you're
he
saying,
judges, so obviously she's going to be judging.
Yeah, I am making that assertion. So,
yeah, that's okay.
You know, it's how it is. Like I know that if I'm at a bar and I'm not going to go for like the hottest girl in the bar ever. It's just not my style.
Because you don't want it, or you don't think you'll get it, or based on
Both.
past experiences, you haven't gotten it.
I don't, because I just don't care to a lot of times.
But is it really not caring to, or it's the fact that you don't think you can get it?
No, I don't think it's the fact that I don't think I can get it. It's just that I'm judging whether it's right or wrong that she's going to be a terrible person.
Really?
Yeah. Same way I'll judge a guy if he's like all cut up and muscular and kind of just based on his appearance.
But that sounds like you're saying I'm not attracted to those people.
But that's essentially, yeah, I guess that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they're not your type. They're not what you're looking to connect with.
Definitely not.
Right. But I want to go back to the conversation from the beginning where you were talking about like you haven't been in a relationship. Do you think that that's abnormal that you haven't been in a relationship, or that it's bad?
I think it's definitely abnormal. I don't I dated a girl. The most serious thing I've ever had was a long distance. But how serious can you say that? I met her doing comedy on the road.
Right.
She lives in Indiana. I mean, she visited a lot, and I was, once we started getting serious, like I was totally faithful and everything, but you know, it got to the point for me, it went on for like 6 months where you either had to move out here
right.
or not.
It almost seems like for you subconsciously, I feel like I'm doing the mind reading now or something.
Yeah,
I'm like,
seriously, it's all about
I'm
mind
telling
reading.
you what you're thinking, but maybe for you, that's part of the appeal was that she was far away and that you're not really the committed type, and you kind of knew that there would be a distance no matter what, and so that was appealing to you subconsciously.
No, I think you're right. I think for me, it's very. I'm very focused. I'm a very hard worker. I'm very driven, and it's not that dating somebody would get in the way, but I need my alone time. I know that sounds so douchey.
No, it doesn't.
But it's like I need, like for example, I was dating a girl last summer for like 2.5 months. Always had a great time with her, but then when she'd want to stay over at each other's place.
It's not what you want.
4 or 5 nights a week. That's too much for me.
Yeah.
And I'm constantly with what I do with running with all these Twitter feeds, and especially like I run a sports website. It's a news cycle. It's no different than anything else. I have to work my ass off,
right.
And obviously performing, and then I got a lot going on. So when she called me, I remember we spent like 4 nights in a row together, and she called me on a Sunday, and I was like, I just don't want to talk to anybody right now. And it wasn't just her. I had ignored calls from my mom, from my little niece, and she took that so personally. And this is what I just don't get about somebody like that. She's like, I've been giving myself to you, and she made it a sex thing, and I'm like, it's not like I've just been using you for sex. We've been like, spending time at the beach all day, going on dates. Like, don't turn this into a sex thing. But a girl like that, I just ended it. I'm like, you're fucking crazy, in my opinion. If you think hanging out this many days in a row, and I simply said, I don't want to talk to anybody right now, and you pull the I've been giving my body to you, like what does that mean? What does that mean?
I've used that on my boyfriend.
Have you really? I've been giving my body to you.
Well, I haven't
you
said it.
that?
No, I have not said it like that. I would kill myself if I said it like that.
I've been giving myself.
Well, I've
to
been
you.
like, I just like let you
do stuff. Now
lean
clean
in
up your
areas.
dishes.
Yeah, right. Exactly. No, literally, that's how I've used it. I wish there were more people. Not like you, Andy, but like
thank you.
But have parts of like you, because I'm the same way. I'm very much I need my space and my time, and that from the beginning was a problem with my boyfriend and I, was that it was not anything personal to him. It was like I literally just don't like being on the phone.
Sure.
So I just don't want to be on the phone right now, and that was a huge. And we still go through that because he'll call me like 2 times a day from work, and he'll be like, what are you doing?
Now,
and I'm like, it's Tuesday. Let me do my thing. Like, I don't need to recap what we like did last night, which was nothing.
But what is that a reflection of? I think a lot of people, they can't be alone. I mean, I think they can't.
For sure.
They can't. It's like a panic attack. They can't have that alone time. And for women, I mean, let's be honest. That clock is ticking. So like this girl I was dating was like 35, and it's like she's in that mindset of like she's already she was successful. And financially stable. It's like, I need to get married.
That's why she dated you.
Yeah.
Because she knew you had no money.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
It's like I'm into this guy, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, and I'm aware of that. I mean, I mean, women have to be aware of that, and I know they are. The minute they get older, especially with the pressure to have kids, and
For sure.
it's a lot of pressure.
Well, I want to comment on a couple of things that you said, but I'm going to comment on them for this week's chapter in the Man's Playbook. I am horny to win. Okay, so this
So
actually
horny to
all
lose.
leads back to reading minds and mind reading, which I'm glad that it did do that. Okay, so two things that you were saying that you may think that we may look down upon. I love that you know who you are, and I love that you don't feel pressure to get into a relationship just because everybody else says you have to. And I think that's a huge struggle for a lot of women and for a lot of people in general, because I think it's okay to continuously have experiences and fit in a lifestyle that works for your lifestyle. One other thing that you commented on was reading the girl's mind and thinking that she's crazy and she has all this pressure because she's 35. She may have all of that. One thing I did notice from your quick conversation with her when you weren't suddenly available on the phone is that you assumed something about her and she assumed something about you, rather than just having a conversation of saying, you know what? We have been spending a lot of time with each other. I really just want to take today off to do my own thing. Work is piling up. Let's talk again on Tuesday, or let's talk on Monday. So a little communication could have helped ease that, so you wouldn't be fighting with her.
Rather than just sever
rather
it.
than assuming she's crazy, she's feeling high pressure because she's 35. It could have continued to be fun for
However,
another-
in his defense, I will say she's probably crazy because she did say, I gave my body to you.
Yes.
So that's like at least.
You should see the number of hashtags she puts on Instagram.
okay.
She's
She's
crazy.
kooky.
Fine.
Yeah,
so then
yeah,
that's crazy too. But I'm just saying, like, in general, I would think the
I know
same
what you're
thing.
saying,
Like,
though.
you know, we just had 4 days where I've had sex with you every single day. That means that we're intimate and close, and suddenly you don't answer my phone calls. Like, that would really hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
It would. I'd be like, are you using
That's why you
me?
don't have sex every single day.
Yeah, but,
Right.
but let me say this. There's a difference between, here's the thing. There's a difference between me having just the girl come over that I'm just going to just fuck.
Right.
And then there's this girl who we're spending the whole day at the beach. We're going back to...
You're intimate with her.
Exactly. We're going back to my apartment. I'm cooking us food. So my thing with women, a lot of times, they don't pick up on context clues. And it just blows my mind.
Okay.
Because it's like, figure it out.
Figure out what?
If I'm spending all this time with you, clearly I like you.
Right. And then you ignore her for a day. So
No, it
what
wasn't-
message is that
no,
sending?
No, it wasn't ignoring her. If she called me, I just said I need my space. That's essentially what I said.
Okay, so you said you didn't answer the phone from your mom, from your niece, from anybody. So you didn't answer a call.
I answered a call. Maybe I didn't.
Oh yeah, okay. So you didn't say that. You said you
I didn't
ignored
answer
her.
it from my family, but I answered her call, and that's exactly what I said.
Ah, okay.
Was
and you
like-
said,
Just give me a minute. Like, I'm literally just vegging out on my couch watching sports or whatever. But
Right.
it's like,
you said that to her. Just give me a minute.
I don't remember what I said.
I'm just saying, it doesn't sound like a very nice conversation that I would want to hear on the other end.
I'm from Ohio. We have manners and chivalry.
Yeah. Okay, so you did say something nice, like, hold on a second, bitch. Like, I'm doing my laundry.
Here's the way somebody described me once. They're like, you're like a dick, but you're like a nice dick. Like,
Yeah.
I'll never be mean.
Like my husband.
You're like a dick wearing a bow tie.
Yeah, I'll never be mean to a girl. I'm always
Like an actual dick.
I know manners and chivalry, like as far as opening doors. I mean, all that stuff sounds basic. A lot of guys don't do that. I never lie to girls. That's one thing I'll give myself. A lot of guys are dicks about that. I'll never mislead a girl on. I'll be very honest. Like if I've been seeing a girl for a minute and she's like, well, where's this going? I've never had a problem being like, sorry, this is just sex for me. Like I'm not going to lie because that's me. You don't want to lie
I think
to
so
anybody.
too. I agree. Okay. So then you were nicer to her when she did call you.
Yeah, I wasn't like, yo, bitch, I'm just jerking off watching Pornhub. Don't bother my money.
Yeah,
you became a gangster.
screw you, go away. Okay, but anyway, for the people that are listening, there is a lesson there. Maybe you didn't actually need that lesson, but for them listening, how does this tie back to reading minds again? I'm trying so hard with this.
Well,
one.
they read, like, he read her mind saying, you know, she wants
right.
children in a future instantly, and then she read his mind saying, like, you don't even want to talk to me.
Right, exactly. Good. Thank you, Kristen. You're saving me.
I'm taking notes.
I'm a little hungover today. I have to
Good,
admit.
that's
I
good.
had a
That's a
date
good
night with
thing.
my husband.
That's
it was
awesome.
fantastic.
What did you drink last night?
Some white wine, which always gives me a horrible hangover the next day.
White
I'm getting old. It's horrible. I can't handle my liquor. I had 3 glasses. And this is how
And you're hungover off
And I'm
3
hungover.
glasses.
It's horrible. Well, then I have to get up every 3 hours to feed a kid. It's like, okay, I don't get to recover from my hangover.
Yeah,
so.
that's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's a lot. Thanks for pitying me. I appreciate it. Okay, so that was this week's chapter in The Man's Playbook. But the lesson there is to really communicate a little bit more. I love what you said about being honest with women. It's really important because that is the true definition of a man, a real man. Even if you're honest and saying, we're just banging, like we're just having sex, honesty is super important.
But see, let me say this then. The problem, too, I've run in with that, then it turns into I'm an asshole for being honest, for saying
But then that's on her shoulders.
Then they move on and you don't.
Yeah,
Okay.
but that's
You don't
on her
hang on
shoulders.
it.
You're not an asshole for being honest. If you never misled a woman and like promised
Yeah, that's the thing.
a
You have
relationship,
to start it from the beginning.
Right.
You can't act like you want to be romantic, then
Right.
do all the
And act like
banging,
a boyfriend.
and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, we're just banging.
And my thing, too, always is I hate labels. I feel like, that's kind of how I am, especially as far as like my social life. And,
Right.
And I feel like so many times, and it's not just women, men do the same exact thing. We're just, what are we? What are we? Are we boyfriend, girlfriend? And it's like, just let things play out.
We're annoying. That's what we are.
Yeah. Just let things
well,
play.
this is the thing about you as well. I feel like you're consistently reinforcing what the situation is because I don't feel like you're a shy person. I feel like you would continuously, put these things out there so the girl knows where you're at. Is that accurate?
No, that is. I mean, I was seeing another girl, and to me, it was purely sex. And I hate to say, because we did meet off Tinder, and this is what I'm talking about with context clues. She thought it was definitely more than it was, but I knew she was embarrassed because we were at the Hollywood Improv, and my podcast partner Joe Prano asked her, "How'd you and Andy meet?" She didn't have the balls to tell him.
Really?
Oh, we met out, and then he knew just to be a dick. He's like, "So how'd you guys meet?" He asked her again. She kept giving him some generic excuse, but like this girl, for example, we were hooking up for a few months, and she kept thinking it was more, and I was always very honest. And finally, when she's like, "Well, where's this going?" I had to call her out. I'm like, let's look at the last.
We met on Tinder.
Yeah, but not only that, I go, let's look at the last few months. Let's look at what we do. Sure, we go on dates. Sure, we do everything. What happens when we see each other? We instantly just start having sex. I'm like, that can be a relationship, but a lot of times it's not. Like, it's so revolved around seeing each other twice a week and just having as much sex as we can.
You're expecting her to have a lot of common sense, essentially, and she might not. Like the common sense
But I
is,
feel
oh, we're
like a
just
lot
doing
of
it.
girls
That means we're not.
They don't
Right.
connect that. Like,
yeah.
Again, it's like a context clue.
Right.
Think about it. We're just having a lot
But
of sex.
let's say the context is, and I'm talking to my girlfriend, oh my God, I met this amazing guy. We go on these great dates. We met on Tinder, like random. But every time we see each other, we just rip each other's clothes off. It's that passionate. How amazing is that? That's the context on her end.
Okay.
Then you
Yes,
say,
you have
what are your
wonderful
conversations
sex.
like?
And you say, I don't know yet what my conversations are like yet, but we have this amazing passion and chemistry. And for a lot of women to find that's pretty spectacular. So in her mind, it could be the start of an amazing relationship that could potentially fizzle out later on and turn into a wonderful partnership where you communicate and have conversations. But for me, I know if I started out a relationship that way, and you go on dates, which means you get outside the house and you're not having sex on these dates.
Sure.
You actually do have conversation. You're a fun person, which means she probably has fun with you and laughs, and then has crazy sex with you.
She didn't laugh that much. She you know how you knew I didn't like this girl? Because
She didn't laugh at your jokes?
No, after we got done having sex, I'm a huge fan of Amy Schumer. I put on Amy's last special. And I'm
she
like,
didn't like it.
I'm like crying. I've watched that thing I don't know how many times. And I'm crying, laughing, and she's not. And I was like,
You're out.
I was
Yeah.
like, done. If you don't find this stuff funny, done.
Well, I mean, I've told the story a million times. I don't know if I've actually said it on here specifically, but I dated a guy in college, and I'm a massive Seinfeld fan, as everybody knows that listens to the show. And he didn't like Seinfeld, and so I literally broke up with him because he didn't like Seinfeld. Because we're not going to see the world the same.
No, you're
it
right,
means
though.
like something's missing. If we can't share this together, we can share nothing together.
Yeah.
and
It's
I don't
true.
want to share anything together.
No, but those are good indicators.
Yeah.
Those are things
Yeah.
that you want. That's high on your priority list.
Yeah.
Like somebody who shares a sense of humor with you.
But it's also a view on the world. Like, again, if she's not laughing at Amy's jokes, then she's not seeing the world through the same eyes that you
Right.
are.
Yeah.
Right.
So I totes get it. I totes get it.
Are we done? Are we done talking about
Yes,
this?
so we have to go to the second.
All right, so we have Susan Pinsky coming up on the second half of the show. But right now with us as the voice of douche is Andy. And again, what is your website?
Dirtysports.com.
Dirtysports.com. What is dirtysports.com?
It's essentially it's a sports website. We post like funny videos, news of the day. We look at ourselves as the anti-ESPN.
Okay.
I hate ESPN because when you go to Sports Center now, I don't know how much you ladies like sports.
I never
or
go to
anything.
Sports Center.
I like the Buffalo Bills and it ends there.
Okay, so it's so PC. It's so now. It's not even about highlights. If I see one more story about a guy who got cancer, I don't want to watch that shit. Ours is very uncensored.
Should be called Cancer Center, not Sports Center.
It really should at this point because, and I sound, but this is the thing. Nobody has the balls to talk about that stuff. Oh, you're mean. You're mean. I'm like, no, I don't watch these things to turn into a tribute about some athlete who overcame cancer. Like, I don't know.
There's a time and place.
I want to see
There's
sports.
a time and place for everything. Right. You want to see sports, so this is what your website is.
Yeah. So that's essentially what we do, and we have a weekly podcast.
You're so ironically going to get cancer, and you're not going to be able to post it on any of your websites.
Oh my God, you just made him so sad.
I hope I hope I do. And you know what? I'll make jokes about it.
Right. It'll be great material.
I hope I do. God,
it'll be great material. All right.
Seriously. Well, let's see if you are going to. You're
we have a psychic who could tell you.
Tell you
probably
if you are
AIDS before cancer.
Well, let's see what she says, because then we'll know for sure. All right, coming up next is Susan Pinsky and the cool psychic that she has brought with her.
We don't know her name because we're not psychics.
Exactly.
But we will know it soon. All right, we'll be right back.
And now, Katy Perry.
Imagine going on stage without any guitars, or keyboards, drums, or a microphone, and being expected to roar. Tough, right? It's the same with our teachers who are using their own money so students can learn. DonorsChoose.org is a charity that helps teachers get what they need for students to succeed. That's why Staples is donating $1 million to the cause.
Join Katy Perry and donate at staples.com/make-roar-happen.
Hey, this is Dr. Drew, and you have been asking for it. So here it is. We're going to give you 3 episodes of classic Loveline every week. That means more Adam.
Oh, shut up.
More me. Listen. And more of those amazing classic Loveline show moments.
My wife gets mad at this stuff, and Adam's like, oh, who wears the pants in your house? What? How dare you put up with that? If my wife knows not to behave like that because she knows
Now, your wife calls the show and yells at you during the show.
So I shouldn't wait till I get home, and we're done by the time I get home.
Download them every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at podcast1.com.
You're listening to the Ask Women podcast, a Podcast One presentation.
Whatever.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Ask Women podcast. We are here with Susan Pinsky of Calling Out with Susan Pinsky.
Thank you for having
me.
Thank you for coming, the podcast. Mm-hmm. And she brought with her lovely psychic, Rebecca Fearing, which, again, they warned us not to fear because this is all going to be fine. No one's going to die. But you have a show called Dancing with Ghosts, which is a podcast.
Yes, LA Talk Radio.
Okay. Awesome. LA Talk Radio. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, we were talking at the beginning a little bit about like mind reading just in general as a person just guessing what someone else is going to be saying. Mm-hmm. So it's nothing in the realm of what you're doing, but we're kind of transitioning now into the real stuff.
Yeah, of reading minds.
Yeah, so
they're ready to be read.
Yeah.
Please start.
Right. Everybody has psychic ability. That's normal, but I can't guess because if I try to guess, I will get it completely wrong. It's almost a joke if I try to do that. I'm a medium and I'm also clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsensitive. I'm basically all in one. I'm a healer, which I don't ever charge for. And I basically just look at you and just go for it. And
cool.
That's what I'm going to do.
For
cool.
it. Okay.
Yeah, it's like a guy should do with a woman. Just go for it.
Well, that is an interesting thing because I always want to bring it back to helping the people that are listening to this show.
Right.
I wish that the guys listening to the show would take that advice and really it's just